Hello, I'm Jalen Harris, and this is my video presentation, which I would like to title Time to Reflect. So I'll be answering these prompts that are put up for me. Um, Question number one. Now that this semester is nearly over, what are my first thoughts about this semester overall? Are they mostly positive or negative? Well, since the first semester is over, I've definitely think it's been positive. I mean, it's been a new experience for me. My first time even being in college. It's been everything I envisioned. Now it's not completely like the full iterations of movies and stuff, but I do enjoy the independency. I definitely enjoy making new friends, meeting new people, and I definitely enjoy just handling my own work at my own pace. And I don't know, it just definitely fulfilled every need or every question I may have had about what college is like and what that college experience is like, especially at Catawba. Question two. What were some of the most interesting discoveries I made this semester? About myself, about others? Interesting discoveries that I made this semester. I can definitely say the most interesting would just have to be, I guess, probably integrity. Like, I don't know, like a lot of things do come into play. I've noticed a lot of the students here upheld integrity and primarily academic integrity. Like, they don't really much help each other. I mean, they kind of give, I guess, sort of help to get to an answer to certain problems and whatnot. And I've learned that this is like very, it's a very high value at this institution. And I can notice about myself with integrity, I've never really looked much into it, but I've even upholded it even more than before. So, yeah. Question three. What were some of the most challenging moments and what made them so? Explain. I'd say the most challenging moments was definitely the moments where I kind of procrastinated. Not gonna lie, some of the work in my other classes I procrastinated a lot. Sometimes in this class, I tended to kind of do it 2 or a day before, and sometimes it didn't seem like I put a lot of effort into it. And basically, from that, I kind of learned that I needed to actually, kind of start my work a bit earlier than before, just to put actually my own thought and, taking time to actually develop a cohesive argument or developing a cohesive idea or coherent anything. So I'd say that was definitely a challenging moment, was just like getting into, procrastinating in a sense or doing stuff before the due date. So yeah. 4. What were some of the most powerful learning moments and what made them so? I'd say the most powerful learning moments was definitely learning about what makes a Catawba student. Basically, upstanding values of, like I said before, integrity. I definitely say probably service is a big one. I definitely say probably, improving upon character is a big one. I mean, all of that, and basically being almost in a sense a Swiss Army knife in a sense, like, being utilized in different subjects, various areas and stuff, since this is a liberal arts college. And I found them very powerful because not only do I learn a lot going into a career field and whatnot, and expands my knowledge even more, but even along of like being a Catawba student, I can translate that into, my real world experience or just my personal life every day, and I guess be the best version of myself as I can possibly be. 5. What is the most important thing I learned personally? I'd say the most important thing I learned personally was definitely effort. Effort is something that I never fully realized as soon as I got to Catawba. As I left high school, I never really put a lot of effort into things. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a procrastinator of sorts. Sometimes I wouldn't put much effort into it because I usually would get high grades due to the low effort I put in. So it just like conserve, I guess, a lot of my mental energy, let alone it would conserve a lot of time I would spend on an assignment or whatnot. But here, effort, I would have to utilize my full strengths or my full effort into actually doing stuff, and it just like kind of balances out the laziness I may have, or just kind of like overcome the laziness and overall fault I may have, of not turning in assignments or turning in assignments late and all any issues I might have with classes. But I'd say effort is probably the biggest thing I learned personally at Catawba. 6. What most got in the way of my progress, if anything? I'd say what got in my way of progress was definitely laziness. I mean, I definitely was a bit lazy at times, and coming into this first year, laziness is going to be something we always, combat with for years to come, especially as, human beings and whatnot. But I'd say laziness was probably the biggest thing, because I was a little late on some assignments, or I didn't turn in assignments exactly on time, or some assignments I didn't put much of the effort in because I was just lazy overall. But I'd say laziness was definitely one that I got in the way of my progress at times. 7. What did I learn were my greatest strengths? My biggest areas for improvement? Okay. My greatest strengths, I definitely would say, is I anticipated a lot, so I got actually a lot of work done. It was just later on in the semester, I tended to procrastinate a bit because I had so much work already done within the first half of maybe the semester. But I'd say definitely anticipation is probably the biggest thing, and adaptation. I was able to, I guess, improvise on the fly in a sense, or I was able to like really think about things, or like, I don't know, come up with a very interesting but cohesive take on certain things, integrating my personal belief in certain topics or subjects that were presented in classes. My biggest areas for improvement, I'd say probably time management. That can be equated to the laziness I've mentioned previously in other questions, and the lack of effort I've had. Time management's definitely one of the biggest things, just due to the fact that, like, I would tend to forget a lot of things when they were due, or I tend to find out last minute and then just rush and do it last minute. So definitely would say time management would be the biggest improvement, and my greatest strength would definitely be anticipation and adaptation. 8. What moments was I most proud of my efforts? I definitely say turning in a lot of work on time, definitely achieving high grades, definitely were moments I was proud of most times. No distinct moment as of late that I think about really, but basically I could just say majority of the time it's really just turning in the work and actually, receiving criticism and improving upon that work and whatnot, and delivering and actually taking in what my teachers are trying to tell me to, I guess, give, provocative thoughts, on how I can change this, or how this is presented differently, or how I can make this idea stronger, I'd say those were the biggest moments I was proud of for my efforts, and definitely just learning upon improving myself. 9. What could I do differently from a personal standpoint the next semester? Definitely the biggest thing I could do differently is just putting more effort into things, obviously. As mentioned previously, I said lack of effort. I definitely should be able to time manage things, so how I do this is probably I would tend to, have a calendar, mark down things on what's due and what's due on this day, how should I work around getting this assignment complete, around my every day-to-day activities and whatnot, is something I could definitely improve as, personally. And another thing with just laziness or effort in general, I would just tend to think about what do I want out of myself? What do I want in the future? What I tend to want to be, and how am I going to get there exactly? Because, where I want to get at, I know I can't do without a little bit of elbow grease along the way, so yeah. 10. How will I use what I've learned in the future? Definitely what I've learned at Catawba, along the lines of adaptation, character, and a culmination of other things. How I'd use this in the future, I'd say basically just, improve upon myself, whether it be communications. I'd be able to communicate with future co-workers better than before, than I ever did in my high school at my high school job. I'd say adaptation is basically, improvising on the fly. If maybe a work-related assignment or something doesn't go as rightly as planned, I can just improvise or think of a solution, through a very critical problem, or maybe even with the ideas of character, integrity, being just honest with employees or my employer, or my coworkers about, certain integrity of my work, or, presenting it in the most honest, truthful way that I can possibly can, to actually reflect, I guess, a really positive side of me, so, yeah, but, yes. So this is my video presentation.